Most people who own Bitcoin right now will never get rich from it. Not because they bought the wrong coin, not because they got in too late, but because when the pressure comes, when the price drops 40 or 50%, when the headlines turn ugly, they will sell. They will panic. They will convince themselves it is over. And then 12 months later, they will watch Bitcoin hit a new all-time high without them. That is the pattern. That has always been the pattern. And today, I am going to show you exactly why the people who simply do nothing will come out ahead of 99% of traders. Welcome to Mr. DJ Finance. Let us get straight into it. A billionaire crypto investor recently broke down the math on Bitcoin in the simplest way I have ever heard. He said if you look out over a long time horizon, Bitcoin will likely continue to compound somewhere in the range of 20 to 30% per year. Some years it will be higher, some years it will be lower, but on average, roughly 2 to 3 times the return of the stock market. Now let that sit with you for a second. 20 to 30% per year, compounded, no management fees, no performance fees, no fund manager taking a cut, no employees to manage, no quarterly reports to stress about. You literally just hold and do nothing. There are hedge funds on Wall Street that charge 2% management fees and 20% performance fees and still cannot deliver those kinds of numbers consistently over a decade. Bitcoin does it for free. The only cost is your patience, and that is exactly where most people fail. Here is why this matters more than people realize. Warren Buffett started investing when he was 12 years old. By the time he was 65, he was already very wealthy. But here is the crazy part. The vast majority of his net worth, the billions that made him a household name, was generated after the age of 65, not before after. That is the power of compounding. It is slow and boring in the early years, and then it becomes almost violent in the later years. The curve goes from flat to vertical, and most people quit during the flat part because they do not see results fast enough. Bitcoin works the same way. If Bitcoin compounds at even 25% per year from where we are today, the numbers in year 10, year 15, year 20 become almost hard to believe. But you will never see those numbers if you sell every time the market drops 30%. And it will drop 30%, probably multiple times. That is not a bug. That is the feature. The volatility is the reason the returns exist. If Bitcoin moved like a savings account, it would return like a savings account. The massive upside exists precisely because most people cannot handle the downside. And when this investor was asked what one Bitcoin would be worth in 30 or 40 years, his answer was perfect. He said 1 Bitcoin will equal 1 Bitcoin. Think about that. The dollar you had last year is not worth $1 today. The dollar from 10 years ago has lost significant purchasing power. But 1 Bitcoin is always 1 Bitcoin. The real question is not what will Bitcoin be worth in the future. The real question is, what will your dollars be worth? The answer to that question has been the same for 55 years straight. Less, always less. So the math on Bitcoin is simple. Hold it for a long time and let compounding do what compounding does. The hard part is not understanding the math. The hard part is doing absolutely nothing while everyone around you is panicking, selling, trading, and losing money trying to be clever. The people who win in Bitcoin are not the smartest people in the room. They are the most patient. So the real question is not whether Bitcoin will 20x over the next decade. The math says it very likely will. The real question is whether you have the discipline to sit there and let it happen. Most people do not. Do not be most people. If this gave you a new way to think about your Bitcoin strategy, drop a comment below and tell me how long you plan to hold. Subscribe to Mr. DJ Finance if you are not already. I have a deep dive coming on exactly which price levels to watch for your next buying opportunity, and you do not want to miss it. Stay patient, and I will see you in the next one.